The morning light spilled into Emilia's small Parisian apartment, spilling over the walls in warm amber tones. The city outside was alive, a mosaic of rooftops, chimneys, and the distant sparkle of the Seine. From her window, she could hear the soft hum of life, the chatter of early risers, the rhythmic clatter of a nearby bakery's rolling pin, and the faint accordion music drifting from a street corner. Paris was waking, and Emilia felt herself waking with it, not just from sleep, but into a new understanding of the city she was slowly learning to navigate. Her phone buzzed. May's name flashed on the screen. "Morning, superstar! Breakfast at Le Petit Café. You're late if you're not there in 10 minutes. Paris waits for no one." Emilia laughed softly. May's messages had a way of infusing energy even before coffee, and Emilia needed every bit of that energy today. She dressed quickly, choosing a simple yet elegant outfit that made her feel confident. The walk to the café was a sensory overload. The smell of fresh croissant mixed with the tang of morning coffee. The cobblestones echoed her steps. Shopkeepers called greetings to each other in melodic French, the accents curling around her ears. She paused for a moment, letting herself drink in the details. The way sunlight hit the iron gates of a flower shop, the gentle sway of a café awning, the glint of gold letters on a boulangerie window. Paris was beautiful, yes, but it demanded attention. May was already seated, her espresso steaming between her hands. "So," she began, leaning forward like a conspirator. "Gabrielle, Sylvie, drama incoming. Are you ready for it?" Emilia swallowed, feeling a flutter of nerves and anticipation. "I think so," she admitted, sipping her own coffee. Yesterday's whirlwind, the office challenges, the sparks with Gabrielle, Camille's subtle rivalries, still lingered in her mind. Just then, the café door opened. There he was, Gabriel, carrying a small coffee cup and wearing that calm, reassuring smile. Their fingers brushed briefly as he handed her the cup, sending an electric thrill through her chest. Emilia felt her cheeks warm, but she focused on the cup, pretending not to notice the flutter of excitement that had been building inside her since yesterday. Before they could linger, Camille arrived, radiant et poise, portfolio en hand. "I thought you might want to review these before the morning briefing," she said, her gaze flicking between Emilia and Gabrielle. A subtle tension entered the air. The triangle was becoming more pronounced, more thrilling, more dangerous. Emilia smiled politely, trying to mask the quickening of her pulse. The walk to Savoir was a study in contrasts. The busy streets, the smells of fresh bread, the music drifting from inside the office. Sylvie's sharp gaze swept the room. Luc and Julien whispered quietly, and Emilia felt the subtle currents of observation pressing down. The day's first task was a high-stakes brainstorming session for a demanding client, and Emilia knew it wasn't just about ideas. It was about navigating relationships, hierarchies, and subtle rivalries. Camille's polished charm, Gabriel's understated brilliance, and Sylvie's exacting standards all created a complex environment she had to move through with intelligence and grace. As the session began, Emilia felt her nerves settle. She contributed her own ideas, bold, strategic, and infused with a spark of originality. Camille offered elegant, precise suggestions, and Gabrielle added subtle insights that strengthened her proposals. When the client requested a last-minute adjustment, Emilia's heart raced. She took a deep breath, proposed a creative solution, and held her breath. Approval. A small nod from Sylvie, a brief approving glance from Gabrielle. And Camille's raised eyebrow hinted at admiration, or perhaps the promise of further rivalry. After the session, Emilia stepped onto the balcony to catch a breath. Paris shimmered below her, golden sunlight reflecting off the Seine, the distant Eiffel Tower glinting and street sounds blending into a rhythmic symphony. May's words echoed in her mind. Paris will test you, confuse you, and maybe even seduce you. Yes, it was testing her, but it was also awakening something thrilling, something she hadn't yet named. By the time she returned to her desk, Emilia felt a mixture of exhaustion, exhilaration, and anticipation. Paris had already begun to teach her lessons about work, charm, ambition, and, most unexpectedly, matters of the heart. She was learning that surviving was not enough. Thriving meant reading between lines, sensing currents, and trusting instincts she hadn't yet fully recognized. The office hummed with life as Emilia returned to her desk, her laptop open, and a carefully organized stack of notes ready for action. Today's brainstorming session for a high-profile client would push her to the edge. She knew it. The client demanded creativity, elegance, and innovation, and the expectations of Sylvie, Camille, and Gabrielle were just as high. Every glance, every word, every gesture mattered. Luc and Julia were already whispering quietly, exchanging sly glances. Emilia felt the subtle mix of skepticism and curiosity. She smiled politely to herself, letting her fingers fly across the keyboard as she reviewed campaign ideas. The Parisian office was alive with tension, yet also rhythm and beauty. Sunlight streamed through the tall windows, illuminating the polished wood floors and the subtle art on the walls. Each piece a reminder that strategy and aesthetics went hand in hand. Camille approached, her mouvement précis et délibéré. Carrier une portfolio. I thought you might like to revoir Gabrielle les sorties du concept, elle dit, son ton simultanément généreux et délicatant. Son regard ayant pointé rappelait que la charme professionnelle à Paris était souvent épicerie avec rivalité. Emilia n'osait accepter le défi. Gabrielle arriva petit après. His kind présence, like a contrepoint to Camille's calculée énergie. Il offrait quelques suggestions élégantes, tant à ne pas overshader les contributions d'Emilia, et chaque fois que leurs doigts de spreadsheets au bureau, Emilia sentait amoubler d'excitantes qu'elle a bien contenir. La tension entre eux était palpable, électrique, mais subtile. Le genre de Paris décidait cultiver naturellement. The brainstorming session began, full of sharp energy. Sylvie présided with her characteristic precision, eyes sweeping the room like a hawk. Camille offered elegant, meticulously polished ideas, and Gabrielle contributed with understated brilliance. Emilia interwove her own bold, creative solutions, balancing strategy with flair. When the client demanded an unexpected, on-the-spot adjustment, Emilia's mind raced. she proposed a solution that perfectly blended the client's vision, Gabrielle's insights, and her own innovative touches. The room fell silent for a moment. Then approval rippled through the air. Sylvie nodded slightly. Gabrielle offered a warm, approving smile, and Camille's raised eyebrow suggested intrigue, or perhaps admiration. Afterward, Emilia faced a surprise cultural twist. A pop-up photo shoot at a chic Parisian boutique where she had to direct models, arrange props, and negotiate the client's high expectations on the fly. The soft sunlight streaming through stained glass windows highlighted her every movement, and the gentle hum of the city outside seemed to synchronize with her heartbeat. Gabriel assisted with calm efficiency, while Camille observed quietly, her posture immaculate and her gaze calculating. Emilia felt the thrill of navigating challenges in real time, her confidence growing with each successful adjustment. By late afternoon, Emilia slipped onto the balcony for a brief reprieve. The Seine glimmered beneath the sunlight, Paris alive with the hum of boats, bicycles, and distant laughter from cafés lining the banks. May's words echoed in her mind. Paris will test you, confuse you, maybe even seduce you. The city had done all of that and more. Emilia realized that thriving here meant understanding not just the work, but the currents of relationships, subtle rivalries, and emotional nuance. Gabriel joined her on the balcony, leaning casually against the railing. "You're doing wonderfully," he said softly. "But tomorrow will bring more challenges. Paris never slows down." Their fingers brushed briefly, sending an electric thrill through Emilia, reminding her that professional challenges and matters of the heart were intertwined in ways she hadn't anticipated. Camille appeared at the balcony far end. Her présence a remarqué that intrigue et rivalité n'étaient à point d'effort. "I guess you would like to see a new client mock-up," she said smoothly, her gaze sharp yet polite. Emilia's chest tightened. The subtle triangle, Gabrielle's understated charm, Camille's précise élégance, and Emilia's own rising confidence, was reaching a tension that would define tomorrow's challenges. As evening descended, Emilia returned to her desk. She reflected on the lessons of the day, navigating office politics, creative problem solving, and the delicate dance of Parisian relations. The city chimère à rondeur, full of romance, possibilité, et challenge. Her heart raced with anticipation pour le next interaction, les next spark de connexion, et les nouveaux jours, Paris est mise on ce way. The late afternoon sunlight filtered through the tall Savoy windows, casting long, golden beams across Emilia's desk. She sat surrounded by sketches, mood boards, and laptop tabs, but her mind was elsewhere, replaying moments from earlier in the day. The subtle sparks of connection with Gabrielle, Camille's polished, almost predatory glances, and the relentless expectations of Sylvie. Paris was testing her patience, her creativity, and most unexpectedly, her heart. Gabrielle appeared quietly at her side. "I'm just thinking," Emilia admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. She felt the weight of the day, the creative challenges, the subtle rivalries, and the undeniable tension between herself, Gabriel, and Camille. Camille's presence soon punctuated the moment, stepping onto the balcony with her usual impeccable poise. "I didn't want to disturb you," she said smoothly. holding a notebook filled with meticulously organized notes. But I thought you might want to see these new concepts before tomorrow's meeting. Her gaze flicked between Emilia and Gabriel, a faint smirk playing on her lips. Emilia felt a rush of nerves. Camille's interference was never direct, but it always landed like a calculated challenge. Emilia's pulse quickened. She realized that surviving the professional challenges of Paris wasn't enough. She also had to navigate the intricate social and emotional currents swirling around her. Every glance, every word, and every gesture carried unspoken meanings that could tip the balance of her day. Gabriel stepped closer, his dark eyes steady. "Paris is complicated," he said softly, "but I think you're ready for it, and for the moments that matter." Emilia felt her breath catch. His words were simple, yet they carried a weight she couldn't ignore. The city around them shimmered, the Seine reflecting the golden light, distant street lamps beginning to glow, and the hum of the city blending into a rhythm that seemed to sync with her heartbeat. Camille lingered at the far end du balcony, her présence sharp, a reminder that rivalité n'était pas phare de loin. Emilia sentit les dynamiques subtiles dans le jeu. Gabriel effort du calme magnétique, Camille poisait le défi, et sa propre confiance et son grand désir. La tension était intoxicante, un mix de peur et d'exhilaration qui la laissait impossible. Quand le salon se vidait et la soirée s'approfondit, Emilia s'écouchait à son bureau. Réflectit en les leçons de la journée. Paris avait testé son intellect, charme et courage, et elle avait été livrée au défi. Elle a navigué les dynamiques complexes dans le salon, contribué des idées, audace et senti l'impulsion d'une connexion qui était à fois excitante et terrifiante. Her phone buzzed with a message from May. Day 3 conquered, but beware, the city never rests, and neither do its intrigues. Emilia smiled, realizing the truth in May's words. Paris demanded everything: skill, intuition, heart, and courage. The night ended with Emilia stepping onto her balcony one last time, the Eiffel Tower sparkling against the indigo sky. The city was alive with possibility, romance, and challenge. Gabriel's faint presence lingered in her thoughts. Camille's poised gaze reminded her of the subtle battles ahead, and Emilia herself felt a growing awareness. She was no longer merely surviving. She was learning, adapting, and beginning to thrive in the tangled, intoxicating web of Parisian life. As the lights of the city shimmered, Emilia closed her eyes, feeling the pulse of Paris beneath her. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new sparks, and new choices. And deep inside, she knew she was ready to face them all, heart and mind fully engaged in the unpredictable, thrilling rhythm of her Parisian adventure. Night had fallen over Paris, draping the city in deep blue and gold, the Eiffel Tower sparkling in the distance like a beacon. Emilia returned to her apartment, the streets alive with music, chatter, and the soft hum of cafe lights. Her day had been exhausting, yet exhilarating, full of creative victories, subtle rivalries, and moments with Gabriel that made her heart race. She paused by the window, letting the city's glow wash over her. Paris never slept, and neither, it seemed, did its lessons. A knock at her door startled her. Gabriel appeared, holding 2 cups of espresso, his smile warm and disarming. "I thought you might need this," he said, extending one to her. Their fingers brushed, a spark of electricity shooting through Emilia. It was impossible not to notice it, impossible not to feel it. She accepted the cup, her pulse quickening as he leaned casually against the doorframe. "I didn't expect to see you here," Emilia murmured, her voice soft. Gabriel's calm presence had a magnetic effect, grounding her yet stirring excitement all at once. "Paris is full of surprises," he said, voice low, eyes dark with amusement. "Some pleasant, some challenging, and some unforgettable." Emilia swallowed, feeling the weight of unspoken possibilities between them. Before they could linger, Camille appeared at the doorway, notebook in hand, perfectly composed. "I didn't want to intrude," she said smoothly, "but I thought you might like to see a new idea for the client before tomorrow." Her eyes flicked subtly between Emilia and Gabriel, a silent reminder that rivalry and intrigue were never far away. Emilia felt a jolt of nerves and adrenaline. Camille's presence was always a test, never overt, but deeply felt. Gabriel's dark eyes met hers. "Paris is complicated," he said softly, "but I think you're ready for the challenges and for the moments that matter." His words sent a shiver down her spine. She realized that the professional hurdles were intertwined with personal stakes, and both demanded her courage, wit, and heart. The three of them stepped onto the balcony, the Seine shimmering beneath the evening lights. The city breathed around them, alive with movement and music. The distant sound of laughter from cafés carrying on the breeze. Emilia felt herself at the center of a delicate triangle. Gabriel's subtle, magnetic support, Camille's poised and calculating charm, and her own growing confidence and desire. The tension was intoxicating, a mixture of fear, exhilaration, and anticipation. A soft buzz on her phone drew her attention. May's message, "Day 3 conquered, but Paris never rests, and neither do its intrigues." Emilia smiled, realizing how true it was. Paris was teaching her, challenging her, and teasing her heart in ways she had never experienced. As the night deepened, the office rivalry and romantic tension coalesced into a charged, almost cinematic moment. Gabriel's hand brushed against hers again, brief, deliberate, electrifying. Camille lingered at the balcony's edge, her poised gaze a reminder that the challenges were far from over. Emilia felt the thrill of anticipation, the pulse of romance, and the undeniable draw of the city shaping her in real time. Finally, Emilia returned to her apartment, the Eiffel Tower glittering like a promise. She leaned on her balcony railing, exhaling slowly. Tomorrow would bring new tests, professional, personal, and emotional. Camille's subtle manipulations, Gabriel's quiet intensity, and the endless, intoxicating rhythm of Paris all awaited her. But Emilia felt a surge of determination. She was no longer simply surviving this city. She was learning, adapting, and ready to face whatever it had in store, heart and mind fully engaged. The city pulsed beneath her, alive with opportunity, romance, and challenge. And in that shimmering, electric moment, Emilia realized one simple truth. Paris was hers to navigate, and she was ready to embrace every dazzling, chaotic, and thrilling moment.